Hey there, and welcome back. Believe it or not, this is Barn Sprite number 5. You saw me building not one but 2 engines for this car. Originally, a 948 was going to go in this car, and that got moved over to Barn Sprite number 6. So a 1275 was built for Barn Sprite number 5. And today, I think it's close enough that we can fire the engine up for the first time. So let's take a look at it and see if we can get it running. The key hasn't been turned on yet, so let's plug the battery in. Just tap it, make sure there isn't any sparks. Everything looks good so far. Let's turn the key on, make sure that there's no issues with that, and then we can start to turn the engine over and see if we can get this to run. Let's turn the key and see if anything happens. I don't see anything at all happening. Let's test the battery, make sure it has voltage. This car is positive ground, so that's why I have the red connected over there on that cable. Go across this terminal on the battery. Okay, battery's good. Check down here at the solenoid. We have power there. I see the problem. Forgot that I need to connect this up as well. So this supplies the power into the car. This goes up to the ignition switch. Originally, these cars had a battery cable that connected by screwing in through the top of the terminal, and these wires would have been a part of it. So that's why today we need to connect them like this. That wire is all connected. Let's try the ignition switch again. Let's turn the key. All right, fuel pump's running. Ignition light is on. Cycle that again. Fuel gauge did not move. It probably should have. Now let's go double check a couple things before I pull that starter cable. Let's triple check the oil level. Might be hard to see on the camera. Oil's at the right level. We do have coolant, so if the engine fires up, we don't have to worry about it overheating. By the way, this is a Wizard Cooling all aluminum radiator. Again, this is a 1275 engine like you would find in a Mark IV Sprite. And since we're running a bigger engine, we have the SU HS2 carburetors. These are brand new, so we shouldn't have any problem with them. Let's pull on the starter cable and look for any issues. See if it turns over. Tach drive is turning a little bit. That could maybe be tightened up a little bit. And the distributor, of course, I need this loose so that I can adjust the timing, but I think this is a little bit too loose. So I'm going to tighten up the clamp just a little bit to make it easier for me to dial this in once I get it running, and I'm able to use the timing light on it. I want to be able to turn the distributor easily, but I don't want it to move on its own. So I think this is about right. I can turn it, but the vibration of the engine isn't going to be turning that at all. Now, before I get ahead of myself and have a bunch of different things to look at if the engine doesn't start, I think let's throw on a spark tester, make sure that we do have ignition, and that way, if it's not starting, we know it's not because we don't have spark. So I'll turn the ignition key on, we'll pull the starter, and this will flash if we do have ignition. Key is on, I'm gonna pull the cable. Okay, we definitely have spark, so we don't have to worry about that. Now I just need to worry about getting fuel. Okay, the ignition is on. I'm going to reach over, pull the choke up with this hand, and I'll hit the starter with this one. We'll see if we can get this running. We're not getting any fuel in the filter yet. In fact, I don't hear the fuel pump at all anymore. Ignition key is on. As you can see, no fuel is up here. So I'm going to undo this hose right here. We'll see if we can get the fuel pump to run and pump some fuel up here. We have the fuel line disconnected and the pump is still not running. We still have no fuel. So I guess we need to look and see why the pump stopped running. When I first turned the key, I did hear it run, but it's not running now. I decided to come over and check the fuses. Looks like we have a blown one here. So I'm guessing this is the culprit. I've got a new fuse. I'm gonna put that in there. And then I've disconnected the wire to the fuel pump. I'm going to put this on a separate wire that goes straight to the battery that's going to have a circuit breaker on it. So I have the fuel pump connected to this wire here. In the middle of that is a little circuit breaker. So if I touch this to the battery, we should hear the pump run. And we don't. Here's where the fuel pump is. This is an electric fuel pump. A mechanical fuel pump on the engine is standard on a Bug-Eye, but when you switch to a 1275, there is no provision for mechanical pumps. You need to add an electric pump just like this. Now this one has a metal casing on it, and it could be that this casing is actually grounded. So I need to disconnect the wires here and then test the continuity to the casing. This might be shorting out the wiring and causing our electrical issues. Okay, checking the continuity between the wires. None of them seem to have continuity with the casing here. You can see that will beep if there is, and neither of these wires show anything there. So this pump should be fine. It's not grounded to the case. Well, one of the problems I'm having, I needed to fix my little jumper cable, so you had to bend it at a crazy angle. So I need to fix this cable first, and then we can go back to testing the wiring and figuring out what's wrong with the car. Okay, I crimped a new clip onto it. You can see that the wire comes out the end and then is folded back, and that goes along the length of this crimped area right here. So we should have good continuity, and it should be held in there really well and not come out. Well, that's the side that I just did over there. This is the side that I haven't done. As you can see, that's not going off right now. So it looks like this side here is also flaky. So looks like today I'm replacing all of my alligator clips. Okay, I've got both ends replaced now. Very, very reliable. We can get back at it. Let's try this again. This is my wire with the circuit breaker on it. It's connected to the fuel pump. Okay, fuel pump's running. All right, there's a little bit of fuel coming out. So I think I can reattach that now. I'll just connect the fuel pump with this right now just to be safe. I don't want to be blowing any more fuses because I'm not completely convinced that the fuel pump was causing it. So there may be other issues, and I just want to take as much load off of the fuse box as possible. Fuel pump isn't even connected to anything. I turned the ignition on, and this wire is getting very hot. So something is wrong. Need to figure out where this wire goes to. Maybe I should just disconnect it completely for now. Ignition's back on. I have the offending green wire out, and these other green wires are not getting hot, not feeling any heat on anything else. So if we take a look at the wire diagram, fuse box is right here. We have our green wires coming off of here. One of them goes over to the flasher relay. That would be for the turn signals. Obviously, the turn signals weren't on, so that wasn't the problem. Another one goes over to the wiper motor. Again, I didn't have the wiper switch on. And the other one goes down here to the fuel gauge. And remember, I was noticing that the fuel gauge wasn't moving like normal. So I'm guessing that's our bad wire. There's something wrong with the fuel gauge. Maybe it's shorted out internally. So let's leave that green wire disconnected right now. Even if it's not the fuel gauge, we don't need any of these things that are powered with the green wires, but I'm pretty sure that that's our culprit. We're going to find that the fuel gauge was shorted out or not connected correctly. So with this knowledge, we can continue to get the engine running. I'm going to run the fuel pump manually, connecting it up here. I'm going to pull the choke up, pull the starter cable. Try to give it some gas. Running, so now I can connect the timing light to it and actually get the timing where I want it. Sounds like the engine is idling too high, so I need to back off the throttle just a little bit. That sounds like a good RPM to get the timing light out. When we go to do the timing, we have just a very small area to see the timing. You can see that white mark there, that's top dead center. I need to take my marker and color in more of the front of that pulley. Otherwise, I'll never be able to see that from the front. You can see what I've done with that mark now. I've extended it out to the front of the pulley. That's because if we're looking at the front of the car, to time it, we have to look through this small gap here. And those 3 fingers hanging down there, those are the timing marks. And that's the pulley right there. So that's why I've marked it that way, because there's otherwise no way that I was going to see that. Okay, it's really hard to see in there. I don't want to give a big flash warning, but I've set it to 12 degrees top dead center. Right now our voltage is 12.4. Let's rev it up a little bit and see if our generator works. Went up to 13 volts, so the generator might be working. I need to get the distributor tied down, and it looks like we have a leak from the heater core. You see the coolant pouring out from the bottom of it there? We actually have steam coming out of the blower pan. Boy, what a mess. That is the original heater core inside of there from when I got all 6 of those Barn Sprites. It looked fine, but obviously it's not. Let's grab a hose and just bypass the heater core so I can take a hose from here over to there, and then we don't have to worry about this at all. Distributor's tightened. You can see how I bypassed the heater core. I did shut the valve, but of course we're gonna have coolant coming from this direction still. So I just connected a hose from there over to here. Now we won't have any leaks. Now that we know the wiring is safe with this one disconnected, I can connect the fuel pump back up. I'm going to add it to the accessory terminal over here. This terminal is switched with the ignition power, so the pump will only run if the ignition is on. Now I need to tune and adjust the carburetors, and that means I need to loosen up these bolts. We need to disconnect the shafts in between the carburetors so that we can make individual adjustments to each one and not have it affecting the other. I'm going to loosen both of them because I also don't want the throttle cable to be influencing one of the carburetors. The jets on both of the carburetors have been set the same, so now I'm going to use a sync tool to make sure that they're flowing the same amount of air. Basically, you're making an idle adjustment on each carb individually. You don't want half of the cylinders getting more air and fuel than the other half, because it will make half of your engine run lean, which is not a good thing. You can already hear that the engine is running much smoother. Let's hit the lifting pins on the carbs and see what they're doing. Okay, that one's a little lean. So is that one. I'm gonna dial in a little bit more fuel. All right, let's test it out. It sounds pretty good. Let's get it out in the parking lot and drive it around a little bit. Wow, this thing has some get up and go. Feels like the clutch needs to be bled some more. Speedometer's working. Water temperature is coming up. Let's try second gear. Gonna have to pump the clutch a bit. There we go. Wow. Oh yeah, this thing is awesome. See if we have any brakes. Not much. Okay, brakes and clutch both need to be bled more. This thing is a little rocket ship. Looks like I got a little leak here. Need to tighten this hose up a little bit. I'm surprised that leak didn't show up earlier. but get that tightened up and everything will be good. That's going to be it for today, and you have a chance to see this car fully finished in person. This car will be at the Austin Healey Conclave in Branson, Missouri. Look for Paul, who is the new owner of Barn Sprite number 5. Paul is a lot like Ken. I have done many cars for him over the years. And of course, Ken will be there with 1 or 2 of the Sprites that I built him. So if you'd like to join us or see these cars in person, look us up at the Austin Healey Conclave in Branson, Missouri. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, comment below and click subscribe.